I'm excited to be here with Jim Williams, VP of Marketing for BlueCat. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks, Rob. I'm happy to be here.
So what should people know about BlueCat?
So BlueCat is what we call an enterprise DNS company. So we actually manage DNS systems for very large companies that have complex networks. And for those of your listeners who are not familiar with DNS, because it's kind of an arcane topic, you could think of it as the initial point of connection for any device or person, application or service that's trying to connect to a network. Right, so we manage that first interaction, and we provide a lot more than just making the connection to our customers.
Customer advocacy is an important pillar to the BlueCat marketing team. How did you build that foundation, and how are you keeping up the momentum?
We do it in a number of ways, but it's not easy. For one, many of our customers don't want to talk about the systems that they manage mission-critical infrastructure with. They don't like to talk about vendors. They don't like to reveal too much. They're a little secretive about that. So you're hard-pressed to just walk out and find the customer is willing to shout from the rooftops, "We love using BlueCat, and here's how we use it," which it creates a real challenge. So what we focus on really is we do a lot of user groups and a lot of face-to-face meetings with customers to better understand what their challenge is and how we can better provide them answers to those with our solutions. And as part of that, we ask them to provide feedback on the products and services, not just to us, but through a lot of these peer recommendation sites. We also have a customer advisory board, which is critically important. We're no different from any other company in this regard, but it allows us to connect with executives at our customers and what they're looking for to help solve their digital transformation pains.
How do you gather and importantly share some of those insights about your target audiences to better understand their pain points?
A number of different ways. There's kind of our first primary research that we do ourselves. It's through things like user groups, beta programs, feedback sessions, etc., especially around product launch phase. So that's stuff that comes direct to us from our customers, and they're more than willing to tell us what they like and what they dislike. That gets us only so far. We also rely on third-party surveys of our buyer profile. We would work with third-party agencies or consultancies to do that. Matter of fact, we've done some work like that with you guys. And then finally is just industry news, industry sources of information. What are our competitors doing? What are we reading about in relevant publications, etc.? What's on the mind of an executive buyer, a CIO, a VP of infrastructure as a service, etc. That helps inform us on the direction we want to go.
How do you translate fairly arcane technology like DNS into broader messaging around things like digital transformation and business value?
At the base, we have power users who just want to know how to deploy DNS, how to move their host records, etc. And they're not interested in marketing-laden terms like digital transformation initiative. At the other end of the spectrum, the people who are investing in mission-critical infrastructure who are feeling profound pressure by the disruption that cloud has brought to networks, pressure from security teams that are constantly asking for better insights and more data, etc. And pressure they feel from trying to get their house in order to move to software-defined networking, for example. They are looking for a bit more of a visionary type message, right? They really want to be led. What are vendors recommending as best practices to prepare for this type of innovation that they need to have inside their organizations? And so it's a kind of a balancing act between those two things. And I think we're no different from any other company in there. How do you inspire your audience, lead your audience, show that you have vision, show that you have thought leadership, and really quickly get to, you have a pain and we solve it with this solution.
How would you describe your approach to content marketing, and why is quality content such an important part of that strategy?
I personally feel that content is the new advertising, frankly. You're trying to get ideas to your target market, and even a broader market. Maybe it's not just our buyers we're trying to reach, but maybe it's investors you're trying to reach, maybe it's new employees, candidates you're trying to reach, etc. People look to what you've written and what you've produced as an indicator of the ideas behind the company, the drive, the vision, even sometimes the culture is all expressed through the content. And so it's not just simply we need to write a blog because we need to talk about how our product solves this problem. It's we need to get ideas out there regularly to convince our buyers that one thing that differentiates us is the way we see the market and where the market's going, the way we think about the pains that our buyers are experiencing, et cetera. So how does that play out? You know, in order to do that, you have to have a kind of a wide variety of content. There is content that I consider quote unquote top of the funnel, you know, meaning it's actually content that's like branding content. And I think the content that we created with you guys, with IDG, we did this whole campaign on House Divided, which was about this gap between cybersecurity and networking teams and how the gap itself is actually a huge contributor to cybersecurity threats, data loss, et cetera. It's a great piece. Now, fundamentally, you know, we're not therapists that come in and try and get these teams aligned. We just sell one product that both functions can use to do their job. But I view that as like, that's a thought leadership thing, because it's kind of eye-opening to suggest that it's actual dysfunction between teams and organization that's causing, you know, a lack of security. So that's like top of funnel content. We have a bunch of middle of funnel content, which is literally, how do we make our customers successful? How do we differentiate ourselves? How do we solve real specific pain points? You know, how do we help undisrupt the disruption the cloud has created with networks, et cetera? And then there's bottom of funnel content, which you can view as things that actually help our buyers make decisions in our favor, frankly. So it's content's a very expansive, has an expansive role at Blue Cat, and I think that's the case with many other organizations as well.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you.